What's going on, everybody? Hey, so with the last few Backstab videos that I've put out, I've gotten a lot of questions on whether or not the build works, how it works, what my skills need to be, how am I able to level my Codex, etc., etc. So I'm gonna put out this short video going over everything you need to know before you run Behr's backstabbing build. So I'm going to bring it up again. I'm going to bring up my skills. I'm going to make sure that you see the skills that I'm running so that there's no confusion there. I'm going to bring up my Codex. I'm going to go over that really quick. Both my fencing Codex and my thieves Codex. I'm going to go over those small little details and intricacies because a lot of the questions are like, hey, how are you able to level up your fencing Codex when you don't have any tactics on your build? It's impossible, right? Because if I take off my weapon here, you see I have, I have 0 tactics. Well, that's because there's some steps that I took before running the build, which I apologize if there was any confusions to it, to basically run the build. And the first thing that I want to go over is, in order to run the build, and I have to go through all these to find where. Sometimes when I drag them out, I move them to a place I don't know where the hell I put it. In order to run the build, first you have to have snooping, right? So basically, what I did when I first started the build, I didn't have any tracking. I had 0 tracking and I had 0 forensics. So what I ran instead was 100 tactics and 100 snooping. You could run 80 tactics instead. That way you can put 120 and some other things, and you could get the skill scrolls to run it. Or you could run 700 skill points to start off. You don't need the 720. You don't need the skill orbs to really start it completely off. But you have to have at least 80 tactics, and I recommend 100 snooping. And the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to go into a dungeon, pick a dungeon of your choice. I did mine, I believe, in Mount Petrum. I believe that week it was the XP dungeon, so there was a lot of people down there already killing mobs, which made it super simple. And what I would do is I would run up to a mob, I would hide, wait my 10 seconds, which I would be able to see with my cooldown. I wait my 10 seconds, and then I would get into stealth and I would steal from a mob. I recommend doing it in a dungeon where there is the XP dungeon or the gold dungeon, because you don't want to kill the mobs. All you want to do is steal from them. And that, with 100 stooping and stealing, stealth, hiding, and whatever else you want, will allow you to be able to level up that Thieves Codex. The first thing you want to do is get 6 points in Shadow Hands. Shadow Hands is where what you take in order to not need snooping. So once you get 6 points into Shadow Hands from leveling your Thieves Codex, you can then drop snooping off the build, and then you can take, let's say, tracking or forensics, whatever you want. But what you're going to continue to just steal off of mobs until you get 6 more points in your Codex. So at this point, you should have 12 points in your Codex. Right here, I'll even reset mine so you can see. All right, first thing I'm going to do, 6 points in Shadow Hands. The next thing I'm going to do after that is I'm going to put 6 points in Ruffian. Now I have 12 points. Now I can drop tactics completely off the build. Completely off the build. And I don't need snooping anymore. And that's where I can reintroduce my forensics and my tracking to my build. And I no longer need snooping or tactics off the build. I keep tactics down here so I can see how good my weapon is. But that's that. Once you've done that now the rest of the build will go. I recommend maxing out Blackguard first, and then working on whatever you want. I only run Blackguard. And then I believe I had 3 here. I believe this one, yep, gold stolen here. I think I had some here. I had 1 point in Without a Trace and 1 point in Ransack. Boom. Now my Thieves Codex is back to where it was before. But the most important thing is before you actually start running this backstabbing build is to make sure that you have 6 points in Shadow Hands first. Secondly, get your 6 points in Ruffian. And then after that, your Tactics is unnecessary. Your Fencing Codex will max out. As you can tell, I'm playing on the live server. There goes a guy running by my house. I've maxed out my Fencing Codex, all with 0 tactics. And if you've watched to this point in the video and you're like, oh well, what else does he do to make this build special? All right, cool. You've seen this, my Fencing Codex, and you've seen my Thieves Codex. You've seen my skills. You might be wondering, like, why do I take a certain thing? I take Forensics because at 120, it gives me a 30% damage increase. Stealth is also a big part of it. I can go into my player stats here. I can go to melee, and then I can presume a stealth backstab. You'll see that stealth gives me some accuracy, which is fine. You don't really need the accuracy that much just because you're going to have plenty of it. Here, let me put my weapon on really quick. And then reopen this, because without the weapon, it does weird things. As you can see here now, my accuracy is over 100%. It's at 160-some percent. But from a two-handed weapon, I get 20% increased damage. From my skill in tactics because of my weapon, remember I have 0 tactics on this build, I get 21% increase. Skill from tracking, 20%. Forensic eval, I get a 30%. Camping, I get a 30% increase. My stealth, because I have 120 stealth, I have a 1300% damage increase based off of this build. My aspect, my mastery chain, and some of other stuff here, obviously, boom, shows you I get all this extra damage. That's why it hits so hard. That's why it works. And then I will go into really quickly, just in case. If you've already watched my old videos, you could probably end it here. I just wanted to show why certain things work the way they do. But lastly, I still want to make sure I go over some of the small things, like cooldowns, just in case it is your first time. I do have a, this is the gump, the bars right here that show you. I just want to show you really quick how to set them up. So hiding, I have overhead message with a cooldown of 10 seconds with the message you have hidden yourself well, and then I have also a system message with a 10-second cooldown, and you begin to move quietly. That's so I can tell when my hiding cooldown is up, and also when my 10 seconds is up for when I start to move in stealth. And that way I can re-hide again. And then I'll get into this again in a second. Blackguard, system message, 30-second cooldown, which, if you're watching this after the update, this is actually going to be a 20-second cooldown shortly. So if you're watching this after the update, this is going to be a 20-second cooldown, which is awesome for us backstabbers that are using fencing weapons, because more damage faster. And then smoke bomb. This is the one you really have to. I really need you guys to. If you don't know how to set up a smoke bomb cooldown, this is it right here. Overhead message with a 100-second cooldown because of the points I have in my Thieves Codex that reduces the cooldown on my smoke bombs. I have a trigger text of ninja dust, and I'll show you why that's important. If you see, I just went ahead and I brought up my Razor menu. And then if you go to displays, encounters, overhead messages, nope, that's not it. Excuse me, I needed a macro. But also if you have tracking, that's something else I'll show you here in a second. Macros, I have a macro set for my smoke bombs. So what I did was I hit record, I double clicked some smoke bombs in my pack, and then I ended it there. And then all I did from here was I right clicked, I hit special construct, which I know you guys can't see it on the screen right now, it's being funny. But if if you just listen and go down to special constructs and then go to insert overhead message, and then you can type in what you want to say, which says ninja dust. I typed in ninja dust because that correlates with what I wrote over here in my cooldown. And then that's it. And then set a hotkey to it and you're done. And that's all you gotta do. So that's some of the cooldowns. Oh, here, let me bring up the let me show you guys the other overhead message that I have here. If you look, I have now tracking. So over my head, it will actually come up in red and say now tracking whenever there is a red that appears within tracking range. So all you have to do that is type in here now tracking, and you're right there. And then if you hit search, it's gonna come up and say unable to find that message. I'm not gonna do it just because I already have it, but just hit yes. Just hit yes. You would like to add it anyways. And then from here, you can click this right here, set a hue, and then it'll give you an option to set it in game, or you could type in the hue number, which is 38 for the color red, and then it'll look just like this. But anyways, that's it. That's basically what I wanted to show, and throw a new video out about it. Like, this is the predecessor to the Behr's Backstab build, and that's what I'm probably going to label this video as anyways. I hope that cleared up a few of the questions and few of the different problems some people were having with this build. I hope it works out for you, and I hope to see you guys out there backstabbing real soon.